Thank you for your patience. Today is a historical day for nurses because we have come together all over the nation, united by a spirit of solidarity and passion, not just for our profession, but for the patients we care for. Today, we stand here as stewards of the profession of nursing, of its past, present, and future. We bring along with us a collective spirit of inquiry, one that prompts us to look inside ourselves, asking what each one of us can do every shift to make a difference that can ultimately save countless lives, not just today, but in the future. Today, we start to reestablish a firm foundation of leadership and advocacy within a healthcare system that continues to base its priorities on profit rather than patients. A healthcare system that continues to reshape who and what nurses are right in front of our very own eyes. I'm pretty sure just about every one of you nurses here today has uttered the words, "Staffing is horrible. Staffing is getting worse. Another shift without a patient care tech. We're working short-staffed again." Give or take a few bad words in between. I'm also willing to bet many of you have arrived for your shifts, looked at the assignments, and wish you could just run back out the door and go home because you know what you're about to face. An impossible mix of patients with high acuities, no help, and all assigned to you for 12 very long hours. Some of y'all are tensing up just hearing me talk about it because you can recall some pretty bad shifts, some of which you weren't sure you or your patients would actually survive. I'm sure very few of you have actually gone an entire shift without cursing the system, hearing your coworkers do the same, or expressing your frustration about how your workplaces couldn't be further from a safe place to work and care for patients, or feeling like it was all out of your hands. We all have, and we've done it for years. Now here's a critical question to ask. Where has this gotten us as a profession? Where has it gotten our patient care outcomes? And just how much have we advanced toward accomplishing change? Every time we get upset, every time a nurse leaves the profession out of frustration and fatigue, every time a patient is injured or dies as a result of poor staffing ratios is a missed opportunity for greatness. A missed opportunity we have all had to take the wheel of our profession, steering where it belongs within an ever-changing profit-driven healthcare system, heavy with corporate entities that continue to push both healthcare providers and patients to the back of the line in favor of remaining competitive and maximizing revenues. You see, we as members of this profession cannot post all over Facebook and Twitter and in nursing discussion forums about the problems plaguing our profession without accepting some of the responsibility and making a plan to fix them. Florence Nightingale didn't have a Facebook account to air her frustrations. She didn't have a cell phone or an email account to contact lawmakers. But she rose to the challenge. She identified problems, she made plans, and did the work so that her patients would benefit. Today, I pose a challenge to each and every one of you out there, all over the nation at your own rallies. I ask you to go back and remember that semester in nursing school we all moaned and groaned that very last semester. Do you recall that annoying little assignment requiring you to write a pretend letter to a state legislator? I recall actually saying, "This is seriously a waste of my time. Can't we be learning something else? Politics will have absolutely nothing to do with what I'll be doing as a nurse, saving lives." I remember sitting in front of my computer thoroughly annoyed that writing a pretend letter to a legislator was taking up the time I could be using to learn something of far more value. I was convinced I'd have absolutely no use for it later. I couldn't have been more wrong. I'm here to tell you that there is no better time than now to start learning about the legislative process and how you as just one nurse can make a world of difference, not just for your own practice, but the practice of your coworkers and the safety and well-being of your patients by participating in it. Nurses recently made historical strides in this state. Up until last Friday afternoon, each and every one of you out there in the state of Arizona practicing nursing could have been retaliated against by a physician or fired for educating your patients and losing your license. Because some of your colleagues spoke up, worked with attorneys and lawmakers, and testified to both the Senate and House Health Committees, SB 1445 was passed to protect you from that horrific outcome. It is now on its way to Governor Ducey's desk to be signed into law. Senator Nancy Barto, along with some of your nursing colleagues, sponsored the Patient Education Bill, which now makes it against the law for you to be subject to retaliation while educating patients about their health care. And
Nice.
all it took was one nurse to start talking, emailing, and visiting with lawmakers. Just one nurse, seeing a problem, reaching out, and following through. Because of that, thousands of nurses and healthcare providers all over the state of Arizona are able to confidently and safely accomplish what the Institute of Medicine believes is so very vital for the patient safety movement. A nurse practicing to the fullest extent of his or her licensure and education, caring for patients at the bedside. Regardless of whether being a nurse is just a job to some of you or a life calling to others, we are all bound by the same oath and code of ethics that mandate us to do what's necessary to protect the humans entrusted to us. A spirit of inquiry binds us all together today on the chance that we might hear something new, something different and innovative about solving a persistent problem that has been plaguing our practice settings for years: unsafe staffing ratios. Unfortunately, you won't be hearing anything like that here today. Instead, you'll be surprised to realize that there are ages-old solutions to the issues we face as nurses at both the local and national levels. The solutions are surprisingly easy to access and take only moments to be a part of. The hard part is simply choosing whether you will continue to be part of what is ailing this profession or whether you will participate in what is sure to cure it. So what can each one of us do to harbor a spirit of inquiry, advocacy, and leadership? Harboring a spirit of inquiry means we mustn't be complacent about staying on top of the state laws that affect our patient care and our workplaces. It requires doing the work involved to enact the laws that protect ourselves and patients. It means continuing to ask the tough questions and search for the solutions to major problems such as unsafe staffing that contribute to thousands of lives lost yearly. How we respond to what we learn is where we demonstrate advocacy and leadership. Never stop asking what can be done better and safer, or looking for ways to accomplish those things. By doing so, you are demonstrating leadership for colleagues that are looking to you, learning from you, and following in your footsteps. The few minutes you spend venting to your coworkers for the 1,000th time about how horrible your ratios are and how unsafe your workplaces are can be used as a catalyst for change. Use that time to email a state legislator and tell them about the problem. If every single nurse did this each and every time they were frustrated and tired, our state legislators would be inundated with mail with regard to the need for change. If every nurse who was exasperated by the current state of our workplaces took the time to call our lawmakers and leave messages for them, or visited with them in person regarding these issues, the state capitol would be saturated with the presence of nurses stepping up to say, "I'm here, there's a problem, we need change."
Yeah.
The time has come to take back our profession and walk our talk. It's time to start talking about it while expecting a different outcome. Time to stop believing in the impossible and instead embrace the possibilities. Healing takes time. It won't happen tomorrow or the next week or even the next month, but it will with time, effort, patience, determination, and focus on what we stand to gain. Nurse safety, patient safety, thousands of lives saved each year instead of lost, keeping nurses within the profession instead of losing them, and a more powerful and present profession than anything this healthcare system will ever see. One that holds on tight and doesn't let go of the unspeakable potential its members have to call the shots in all the right places. On this day all over the nation, we are called upon to stand strong and unified as highly educated, scientifically minded healers demanding change. But what's equally important is that we also be that change.
Yeah!